All right, we'll call this meeting to order of the Legislative Committee at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, July 14th, 2025. Commissioner Teach, do you mind saying the invocation?
Heavenly Father, we love you so much. We come to you. We thank you for the opportunity to serve, Lord. Thankful for the folks that we all live in this country, Lord, that has the freedom to elect representatives, Lord. And Lord, I think that the one thing that's on everybody's mind still is the sweet folks in Texas, Lord. I just pray that you'll please just continue to comfort and just be there, Lord, through these weeks and months and years. It's going to be tough, Lord. I pray that you'll please just keep everyone safe, Lord, throughout that region. And Lord, we love you and we thank you so much. We praise you and we give you all the glory forever and ever. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Without objection, the Law Director's Office asked us to add a master terms and conditions sheet to the agenda for Corson Fire and Security, since we have several accounts with them, I think, for servicing different items. So that's the only change.
That new business E?
New business E for Corson Fire and Security. It's this printout that's on your desk, or it should be in front of you.
Does everybody have a copy?
I do want
Right here.
You got one?
Well, not, is it in the packet or is it separate?
No, it was handed out. I'm sorry. It was
Right here, buddy.
It was sitting here.
Yeah, I don't have it separate.
You guys.
They're all right here. Chris, did you have an agenda?
Oh, she got an agenda.
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Where's another one?
I got it.
I'm good. I got it.
We got it.
And this is for what?
Corson Fire and Security and Master Terms and Condition,
Okay.
I guess, contract, for lack of better words. This is from the Law Director's Office. I'm not through this, so this is.
I can elaborate if you
Yeah, we can
like
definitely
when we get to it.
Sure. So do I have a motion to approve with that addition?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teachner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Approval of minutes from June 9th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So,
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teachner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
One
opposed?
abstention, I was not here.
And one abstention by Commissioner Schoaf for not being here on that approval of the minutes. All right, recognition of the public. When I call your
I
name.
wasn't here, but I watched online just so you know.
Okay. When I call your name, if you wouldn't mind coming up here and stating your name and address for the record. You guys are familiar with this. I appreciate it. You will have 5 minutes. We'll start your clock. All right, Mr. Mike McClard.
Mike McClard, 102 Teoga Trail, Hendersonville, Tennessee. I'd like to talk tonight about the resolution of term limits. I've said for years, the only way we're going to save this country is if we put term limits in at all offices. I mean, you cannot put people in office and let them stay for years and years and years and years and expect anything to change. It's going to stay, it's just going to keep miring up in the same mud. We can see it in Congress and Senate, and you can come right down the list of the states and then down to the counties and down to the cities. I mean, it's just, it's baffling. And the argument is, and I saw somebody wrote it out that, well, we have term limits already, that's why we have elections. Yeah, but it's awful hard for an incumbent to get voted out. When they're in the pockets of the developers and all these special interest groups, and they're being pushed by them to get donations, so they can get donations. You come mired down in it. I mean, a few years ago, Senator Frist with the HCA family, he ran for office, and he said, "I'll run 2 terms. That's all I'll serve is 2 terms," and that's exactly what he did. 2 terms, and he was out, and that's the way it should be. I also saw written that on Facebook, you get a lot of news off Facebook, but you can also read one of the commissioners saying that, well, you're going to have too much turnover, that you have new people coming in and they're not experienced. I don't think there's anybody here in this room who can't figure out how this works. Now, you may not know the ins and outs, you may not know the parliamentary procedures and all that, but there's a man sitting right there that will straighten you out if you need to be straightened out. I can only think of one person on the commission that I wouldn't mind serving until he decides not to. That's Mr. Hyde. He can serve as long as he wants to, in my opinion. Everybody else needs term limits. And I realize you can't do that, but that's just my opinion on the matter. The resolution on rule change on non-agenda items, you know, there's so many people that have things they'd like to say, but they don't feel like they can say them. It might not necessarily be what's on the agenda tonight, or when they have full commissions, but if there's something that they need to bring up to the body, so be it. Let it be. I know it's gonna take a long time, so sometimes these meetings run way longer than they should, but that can be corrected too. But if a citizen has a complaint or has an issue, they should be able to discuss it. I mean, that's why we have elections. That's why you guys and everybody else, when they meet in the full commission room, we're elected to represent the people. I mean, it says it right there on my shirt, we the people. And I mean, if you want to look at two bodies, and that kind of rolls back to the previous resolution, that do not listen to the people and have basically no fear of not being reelected, you can look at City of Hendersonville, City of Gallatin. I've sat in both those meetings and listened to them, and people after people after people, citizens, come up and speak and speak and speak about what they see is wrong and what needs to be happening, and nothing is done. They vote them down, talk them down immediately. I mean, there's so many things in this country that in this county that we have going for us. Let's try to correct a few things.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, next up, Mr. Kevin Bayard.
Kevin Baker, 424 A.B. Wade Road. I love that man. I'd like to talk to the two same items, but I got a little different spin. Regarding the term limits, I 100% agree. In my spin is this. So because a couple of years ago, this body voted to basically include commissioners as part of the TCRS, Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, you get credit now for every year you're a commissioner. You don't make a lot of money, but so you're here 20 years, it's not gonna add too much. But imagine if you were commissioner for 20 years, next thing you know, you get appointed to be a building inspector or something like that, making 80 grand a year. Now your TCRS is all based on that $80,000 for the last 20 years. Even though you're only in that position for 2 years, 3 years at best. But you're gonna get paid as if you were that person for the 20-something years, because that's how the retirement system works. Same thing, or if you were a county commissioner for 20 years, then you run for one term and you become, I don't know, dog catcher, making $80,000, $90,000 a year. Or how about county mayor, as some people have, and you now get credit for that term based at that salary. That's just wrong. You know, talk about feathering your own bed. So I think Mike's onto something. Term limits, generally I don't agree with term limits, but I think in this case, especially because we don't have a state law. Think about this. At every other level of government, you cannot be an employee of the government and still be on a legislative body. Not at the federal level, not at the state level, not at the local level. But guess what? At the county level, there's a big gaping hole. We tried for years to get a piece of legislation passed, but guess what? No, see, they don't want to do that because all the people, including the County Commissions Association, lobbies against it. So I think term limits, we've got to do something, and I applaud this. I don't think it's going to go anywhere because basically it's the same thing. You're not going to do anything to subvert your own positions. But also regarding the public comments, 100% agree. I mean, how can you tell a citizen who comes down here? It's not like I've been doing this for 10 years. Not many of us get up and speak. 5 more minutes of your time to listen to a few constituents, I think it's worth it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bayard. Mr. Chris Shoemaker.
Well, I won't be down here long. I'm going to talk about the same two items. Chris Shoemaker, 1018 Silver Maple Lane. As far as the term limits, guys, I 1000% agree with it. With everything that was said for the most part, 100% agree that term limits need to be in place. I do agree with the concern maybe of the lack of continuity. The only thing I would say is maybe while we're looking at doing the private acts and tweaking things, changing it to where we offset some of our commissioners. You know, districts 1, 3, odd numbers go this term, even numbers go this term. That way you kind of keep that continuity and that experience level in there. Just my 2 cents. As far as the public comments, agree with everything that was said there as well. Only thing I would say is maybe if it's not on the agenda, limit that to 3 minutes. It's gonna make your life a whole lot easier, and put that time block at the end of the thing, so that way if 30 people show up to talk about 30 different items that ain't on the agenda can get pushed forth and those items can go forth, and then if somebody don't wanna listen to Betty Sue complain that the neighbor's dog isn't getting picked up by animal control, they can do their thing and head out. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Schumacher. Ms. Mary Janone.
Mary Janone, 1100 Lockport Road, Gallatin. I'm here to talk to you about term limits and the public comments. So on term limits, I have been a commissioner now for 3 years, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the camaraderie, I've enjoyed the debate, and I have enjoyed a lot of the discussions and issues that have come before us. And I look at running for office as an honor, but sometimes I see people who run for office as just a way to have power, and I'm not interested in power, I'm just interested in making things right. I feel like term limits at two can say like 4 and 4 is enough time. Some people say, well, you know, your first 4 years you're learning. Well, if you haven't learned anything in 4 years, you might as well just forget it. So I'm just saying. And then if you run the second 4 years, then you should be double good at it, right? And you can pass that information on to the next person as a onboarding and offboarding. And that to me is great. One thing we don't have is I like to see a program where people who are interested in being a commissioner or a public office have a way to come to a meeting in a mentorship program where you learn an apprentice, so that you understand things like that. Robert's Rules of Order, I learned those when I was a director at a hospital. I wasn't very good at it, and I'm not good at it now, and I probably will never be, because I just think that Robert was a little bit too strict. So, you know, but I do believe in term limits. I think it's a wise idea, because when people vote, they don't pay attention. They vote for a letter behind someone's name, a D or an R. Of course, you know, D's never happened in my house. But I'm just saying that they're not educated to the point where they really know. And I think it's good to have a clear view of, we need, I guess it's the word, kind of like me going into retirement. We need people that will be able to continue to be the future and not sit in a seat and be glued to it for years and years and years because they want power. The second thing is the speaking on public comments. I agree with that. Gallatin, I go to city council meetings. They don't really like me, but they have, you know, comments about the agenda and what's happening in the beginning. And then at the end, if you have something else you want to talk about, they'll let you come up and speak about that. They don't comment on it, but they do let you speak about it. And they listen. They maybe listen. They don't really listen. And then, you know, you go home. I think it's a good idea because it's on record. For example, I had a house that was getting flooded. And I went at the end of the meeting and told them about it, and they listened, wanted to know the address. And so I was able to do that because there wasn't anything on the agenda for me to comment, and it needed to be done quicker than later. I wasn't getting anywhere with stormwater people. So as far as public comment, we shouldn't be afraid to hear what our constituents say. And if we have to stay a little later, I know a lot of you have fire under your butt. You want to get out at night after the commission's almost done. You're tired and you want to leave. And I don't know how many people will stay really late until the end, like, because our meetings go really long. But people that stay and that really want to have their voice heard, should have an opportunity to do that, and I think it's a good idea. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, that concludes public comments. For the chairman, I have none. For the county mayor, since he's not here. Item A, old business, 8A. I'll make a motion for discussion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This is something we talked about last month, and basically the recommendation was to defer this until this month or until any questions on that 3-star grant about convention centers was clarified or removed, being in competition, with private sectors. This has been a hot topic for a long time since I've been on the commission. Is not competing against the private sector with taxpayer funds against themselves. And the county mayor actually sent an email saying that to remove it, that the program is already filed with the state and commission approval is not necessary. So I was surprised to hear that. I don't know, Mr. Law Director, do you have any insight into that at all, or
I do not.
about this program? So I don't know if everybody else does, but just wanted to call that out. I know there was concerns with that, and then it was on the agenda, and I don't understand how the county mayor was thinking he needed approval and then wanted to, I guess, bypass it. It's already filed with the state. So I'm disappointed to hear that, and I'm disappointed that he's not here to answer those questions directly. So unless anybody has any other further questions or anything.
I just want to say for the record, I'm glad that you kept it on there because I think that's a great point, because I don't know how that could happen without commission approval, but I don't know. Maybe we'll find out some more insight.
Commissioner Jones?
Can I just ask anybody at the table, does anybody have any idea how that could go to the state? Has anybody heard anything from the mayor on that? Anybody? Okay.
Can we make a motion to pull it back from the state?
Can we do that?
And file it?
Or can we at least ask the mayor to explain that to us? It's gonna come before, no, it's not going anywhere.
Commissioner Becker?
Since he's not here, the mayor, let's keep it on to old business and move on. And then next month, maybe he can answer us.
Here's what I'll say, if the county mayor is at the budget, because it's a grant, I will move to put it onto the budget agenda in a few minutes.
Okay.
So I'll ask.
So without objection, we'll remove this from old business for legislative, and Commissioner Schoaf will put it on budget. Is that something everyone?
I wouldn't remove it yet, because he may, I
Okay,
don't know
well,
if he's gonna be
without
there.
objection, we'll take Commissioner Becker's recommendation.
Yeah.
Keep it on old business and then see if he'll answer.
I'll
the
add it.
question. All
If he's
right.
here.
We'll move on. All right, item B is the discussion about the adequate facilities tax. I'll make a motion for discussion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Walter, you said that you were going to come back to us with some information or points to consider regarding this. This new legislation that was written and passed, I believe, during the 24 session last year, not the 25 session of the Tennessee General Assembly, of changing the adequate facilities tax to $150 per square foot for both residential and commercial versus the current 70-40 split that we're in. I was unsettled about, I know this legislation, the way the bill was written, I didn't think it was a great bill.
No, it wasn't.
All right, everybody get this handout from the law director.
So basically, this is me summarizing everything. I put quite a bit of time into researching this and what we're currently operating under. This does require us to get comptroller verification to make this change. There'll need to be a resolution with a first reading 2/3 vote, county legislative body. Then there'll be a second reading needed with a 2/3 vote. Capital improvement program needs to be put in place prior to implementation. Let's see. And then we would have to monitor continued county population increases. So I believe the caps we were looking at were $1.50 a square foot for both residential and commercial industrial, is that the way I understand
Yes.
it? Okay. There is a cap up to 150,000 square feet of commercial property. The rates can never be increased more than 10% after the initial 4-year period or 4-year period since the date of the last increase, and must be adopted by a 2/3 vote. That's assuming we jump through all these other hurdles to get this new rate implemented. And if we do not maintain a 20% growth rate over each census period, that will leave us without an adequate facility tax, period. So we go from $1.50 to nothing, or we end up capped.
What, end up capped meaning what? Stays at
At
what
the
it was?
150, or whatever it was prior to.
But those are two different things.
So how does it go to nothing?
Yeah.
If it's capped, it can't go to nothing. Or I'm not understanding it correctly.
If you don't have the growth.
Yeah, so
Then it goes
pursuant to
Or it gets capped.
67, well, we're capped, and if we lose that pursuant to 2907, that could leave us without an adequate facilities tax, period.
You're saying the
Because
county doesn't-
we don't have the growth to keep us in this new system that we decided to be a part of. The only way we're able to get in there is with the 20% growth based on the census.
So it doesn't cap, it
So
reverts back or nothing?
No, I'm saying there's two things that are happening here.
Let's get the
One is
guys.
we're getting capped,
I
and
wasn't
then we're
trying to
running the
raise-
risk of losing it altogether when we cease the growth rate. And let me just run through the rest of this
Yeah.
real quick, then I'll entertain the questions, because I really don't think you all are gonna wanna head down this road anyway. The county must repeal the current private act we're under. And once we repeal it, we can never get back under it. It's dead. And then that's where if we fall below the 20% growth implementation and go under this new act, then we run the risk of having nothing if we don't maintain a growth curve. And then we also, there were some questions as to whether our state legislative delegation would sponsor repeal of the private act for us to put that in play. So basically on the backside is the highlights of it. The private act already in place requires no additional action to continue collecting adequate facility tax under the terms.
Say that
the-
last part again?
It's under highlights, yeah.
The back
Oh,
top.
no, okay, got it.
Number 2.
And then, and also, currently, uncollected AFTs from builders becomes the responsibility of the municipality under our act that we're currently operating under. So if the builders do not pay the AFT, the municipalities become directly responsible for reimbursing the county, and then the municipality has to figure out how they're gonna collect the money. If we kill the act, then that all falls on our lap. And I'll give you an example. Right now, we're currently in discussions with Hendersonville because they currently owe us $225,841.
Because they did building permits without collecting.
They
their
did
tax.
not get the taxes collected nor refer them here. So as the law, the private act stands now and in the law, we can actually put Hendersonville on the hook. They've got to pay it, and then they go figure out how they're going to collect it from the developer.
Did you get through all these, or?
I did started to entertain some questions there.
I just wanted to make sure.
Appeals process set out in section 11. This goes away forever if we adopt the AFT procedure. So basically, it's a restatement of what I said before, was if we adopt and implement a new one, the old one's gone and we can never get it back. And that currently we're at 70 cents a square foot on residential, 40 cents a square foot on industrial development. And that does cover most of our commercial development. So this is in a nutshell. I had put this together several months ago when this first came up, so I'm kind of hitting a little bit this cold, and we didn't have a opportunity to kick it around for me to further research any specific avenues of it, but that's basically where we stand if we attempt to implement this. It is a very laborious process to implement it. Once we do it, we lose the old one and we lose any perks that were associated with the old one.
So I feel like this is one, so one, I just want to confirm, because this sounds a little bit nuts, that if we were to repeal the old one, so the process is repeal the current adequate facilities tax system, we adopt this one. If we do that, your argument is by repealing the old one, because we do not have a we would no longer have an adequate facilities tax reverter should we fall beneath 20% every decade. That's the argument that you're, okay. So it sounds to me like this is one of these things that it's like started off to be helpful to let you gain more adequate facilities tax for, high growth areas, which, on the surface, I think we would probably be like, hey, we're fine with that. But what this is doing is like
The opposite.
well, it's requiring you to grow in order to do that.
It is a terribly rigid
And
bill.
then it makes it more difficult for, what we have said is that, I think pretty consistently, is that we're trying to bring more commercial, stuff here as opposed to just sprawling residential. This brings them both up. I mean, I don't know, man, like, I don't
And
know
it's
that
a 20% growth.
Here's what I'm gonna do,
threshold.
I'm just gonna move to deny this.
Second.
I have a question.
We have a motion, and we have a second. So, Commissioner Jones.
I just wanted to ask this, if we went to vote, how long has Hendersonville owed us that, 225,000?
This is fairly new. We just, codes came up to us and said we've been auditing some of our, the building that's been going on. So this, probably 2 months we've been dealing with this one.
Did they start auditing because we were discussing this, or just?
No, this is independent, just coincidence.
Okay. I was wondering if we had missed out on things previously, since cities were responsible to collect it for us.
No, but I believe it will, once we get some resolution to this, it will trigger a deeper audit.
Okay, that's my point. Okay.
Commissioner Teacher.
My question, and I think you were saying this, but I was reading and listening at the same time, and I want to make sure I didn't miss it. So the 225-ish, or was it 223, 227, that, whatever it is that Hendersonville owed us.
225, 848.
At that point, did you say that if we do anything to repeal this, that we can't collect that?
Yeah.
Even? So crazy.
It prohibits you from collecting from a city who is.
It makes us.
The private
collect.
act's the only thing that gave us
It
the
is- it
authority to
didn't-
do that.
It did prohibit us from collecting the money. It made us responsible to collect it instead of them. We had to take it on ourselves, is what he said.
I should know this, but I would be interested in what our current adequate facilities tax collection is.
Average is 2.8 million a year. This year in the budget says 3.1, so on average, $2.8 million a year.
So,
7 years.
Let's say that, this potentially doubles it.
Maybe 6 million.
Maybe, just because I want to put this into perspective here. That's,
5.6.
2 pennies. 2 pennies, and it will be flat at that point. So over the course of 10 years, we would get
5.6.
25 million. 25 million. No, it's about 2.1, because pennies are worth a lot more now. About 1.1. So, 25 million over the course of 10 years with a lot of downside. I don't, like, 2.8, so an additional potential 2.8 million. And I'm doubling that, just being kind of like shooting that's probably an overestimate. That's not 1 year's worth of growth change.
It's still wholly inadequate to pay for.
Totally.
Totally. That's why Motel called it the inadequate facilities tax.
So
It is
it's just,
wholly
juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Commissioner Becker.
I apologize, help me understand. So this, the agenda item, HB 2426.
That's the law. Those are the bills that were,
Back in 1999?
no, last year, 24.
That's-
Those
that's
are
what-
revisions.
What's on page 8? Oh, it's revision of.
It's
what's-
basically, I try to include everything that I could find regarding the original, when they did it, to,
Oh, okay.
this is everything related to everything that I could find that Sumner County's done with this since 1999.
Okay, so are we given the option to do one or the other?
Yeah, you-
I apologize, I'm behind the.
Well, I mean, that was, Commissioner Klein had brought this up. Because, you know, we've tried several times, the county
Okay.
commission, to get the state to change laws
I got you.
to allow us to do an educational impact fee like what Williamson County has done. And
This is what they did.
And this is what they did instead, which is just worse, in my opinion. I mean, it's like, they're throwing, it feels like they're throwing a dog a bone, but when that dog starts sniffing the bone, it's like, I don't know if I like the scent on this bone. And the indigestion I might get from eating it. The biggest problem, well, I will make this note, if you guys remember, our Director of Codes and Planning, our Codes Director, Marshall Wright, sent an email a couple months ago saying, last budget cycle, we increased that rate on that, I can't remember the percentage, AVR, AVB or something percentage, we increased that, which allowed him to hire a new employee, which then allowed him, that employee specifically goes out and collects adequate facilities tax in the county. And they got it from Facebook almost at $750,000 in adequate facilities taxes from Facebook that we would have gotten had we not funded that position. But under this, you could only collect 150,000 of that. And so it's like it caps you to 150 grand on that industrial.
On the stuff that you
No
really
matter
want to
what they
get.
owe you.
So I did not realize that until I saw you just said that.
Oh, this is terrible. Like, this is straight up, hey, we're gonna hook it up for big business.
It doesn't say 150.
Sorry, I got
Yeah, there was a
It's
cap.
150,000 square feet.
Okay, sorry, 150,000,
Yeah.
I thought $150,000. Okay, my apologies, I read that wrong. Again, first time seeing this document was just handed out on the table.
No, I-
50,000 times.
I don't know how big Facebook is, but
Times
it's 840
145.
acres.
No, times 40, right, for commercial?
So,
Oh.
And is it nothing after that, or does
Times
it
residential.
scale down? And I'm-
nothing, I think it just cuts off, but I digress.
Where is that?
Anyway, it's just,
Sure,
sure it
my
sounds.
understanding, it's a solid cap,
So it's like
150.
everything, so if you've got 300,000, it's, that extra 150,000 is no, you can't tax that at all.
Okay,
So right now, we're at 40 cents on the full amount.
Correct.
so, on Facebook, we went and got
Yeah.
a lot of that, so, for example, of that kind of industrial complex, but it just, I remember meeting with, Mr. Slater last year about this, and talked to him in person, and I wasn't very happy about the way they wrote it. He was trying to sell it, I wasn't very sold on it, but I definitely wanted us to have discussion and bring it to light, because we do need a solution. I'm willing to bring back, I asked them a third time, about repealing the County Powers Relief Act. I'm happy to bring that back next month. Because we do need that to happen at the state level, and that we need our state legislators to do it. So far, they've been unwilling to do it. One of them told me that they don't wouldn't want to lose votes, so they don't want to carry it forward, because if they lost legislation at the state level. I was disturbed about that. And then we had, I guess, some state legislators recently at a GOP meeting said they didn't even realize that we had sent these resolutions to them, which is equally disturbing to me, because we passed it twice, asking them to help us out. So unfortunately, the state's just not, our state delegation is not paying attention or willing to help the county. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. It's frustrating, I know, for citizens, but I mean, the goal is to try to, how do you make growth pay for itself? I understand the spirit behind this, but in my opinion, it's changing in repealing the 2006 County Powers Relief Act, which is beyond our control, other than continuing to petition the state, which I'm happy to do, and still want to do. But we need state law changed, or we need a private act to carve it out for Sumner County to allow us to do that, which we still could do that, I think. But anyway, we had a vote to deny, and a second, a motion to deny. Is there any more discussion on this? Is there, Mr. Klein, I know you brought this up, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about it, or?
Yeah, with the law as written, did not go into this kind of retail. And so it's horribly disappointing that it's a trap.
Yeah, and we didn't realize that. I mean, you don't interpret that necessarily.
No, it sounded like because we're at the growth rate that we're at, and that is 2% per year, which we've been at for probably 30 years or something close to that. But that doesn't mean it will go on forever. And you know, if our growth would slow down that much, you know, the thing is, 70 cents on a square foot on a 3,000 square foot house is like $2,100. Liberty Creek school system costs us $55,000 per student to build. I don't know that we'd be losing that much, but we would be losing something, and it's just, it sounds like a terrible law. Eric Sidler has done the work, and I want to go back to William Slater and talk to him about it, because I don't think he knew what he was voting for when he voted, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you for preparing this, Eric.
Yeah.
All right, new business, veteran service report presentation. I do not see Mr. Oakey, so that will go on docketing for the full commission agenda. Item B, resolution for term limits. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
No, second.
I have a motion and a second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any discussion?
Comment.
Commissioner Shepard.
So I'm gonna be for this, but I do at least want to argue the counter narrative, which is, you know, I think we heard it a couple of weeks ago. At the end of the day, I think a lot of folks in here have heard the phrase deep state, right? And what that really means is that the people who are working in government, right? Like whether it's federal government or state, or people with interest, the people who are paid by the state. Mr. Baker actually made a very good point earlier about how you can morph from one into the other. But the best argument, and again, I'm going to vote for this because I think it's one of these that has a balance to it, and the juice is worth the squeeze. But when you have people who are constantly churning in and out, the benefit of having somebody like Mr. Hyde is that they really understand the machinery of county government in a way that you can't learn. And I appreciate Ms. Janong's comment, but it's having done budget for 3 years. Like there are many things I do not understand. I maybe have not enjoyed all of my time on the county commission, but I have learned a lot. And I do not think that I will know enough. I will not leave. I would not leave after 4 or 8 years knowing all that much. And so there is something to be said about having somebody on the in a legislative body who has been there for a long time. However, I also think that it is healthy and good for society to move people in and out so that everybody understands the machinery of their local government. I would like to see more people do this. I don't think we should be here. I think it would be in general better, but I did at least want to outline a couple counter arguments, because there will be people who are against this, and I don't think they're evil for being against it. I don't think they're trying to entrench themselves or enrich themselves. I think there are good arguments against it, and I just wanted to say that I can understand those arguments. Anyway, that was it.
Yes, I think it feels like a no-brainer. I mean, I've never had anyone, as far as I can remember, reach out to me that was that was against term limits outside of an elected official or their spouse. I can't think of that, because the thing is, and I think there is some beauty, as my fellow commissioner said, about someone who's been in government for a long time. But I think there's also just the same amount of negative, because if you've ever moved a couch with someone who's a veteran lifter of couches, they might be like, well, we can't get out of that door. But you hire your neighbor who's never moved a couch and they're moving 2 pianos over their head. They're going to find a way to do it. And I think the thing is, you've got to have more trust and faith in the people than you do in the folks sitting in the seats. And that's my whole entire mentality. I've always believed that they're the boss, And so ultimately, they should be able to replace me without me even, without anything. I think you're right on some of the things, but I think that having the opportunity just to always turn it up, the one negative in your same thought, the one negative is that you might get somebody who says, well, we're going out, now we can just raise the taxes or something crazy. But that happens anyway. It happens without term limits. So therefore, it is what it is. And so I think that we got to give people more of a chance to serve. And just to sum it up, I believe that it would hopefully raise the amount of people who are coming out to vote, and they would see the value in elections and the value in turning it over and somebody always passing it on and passing that baton on, because I've got some great constituents who could run and do as good or better job than I do. So I know that some of them are listening right now. So I think that's a wonderful thing, and so I would be honored to have some of them as my commissioner too. So anyway, all that said, I'm very much for it, and I think that we've got to. I wish we would think about it on an entire thing, because you just made a wise statement. You said that there was someone who's a state legislator who didn't want to do it because they were afraid they wouldn't get reelected. And when we take that off the table, there might be more things that get done around here.
Mr. Baker.
I've got 2 amendments I'd like to propose. First amendment, it actually ties in one of the comments a few minutes ago from one of the public genius ideas, so I agree with it. One of the ones I thought of. But anyway, I want to add in here an amendment, and I don't know how we word it, but you understand what I'm going to say is I completely agree we need to stagger. Instead of all 24 at once, stagger where we're 12. So my amendment would essentially be that whenever this takes effect, that next election, that the odd number of districts be 2 years, initial 2-year term, and the even number of districts would be a 4-year term. On that the election that it first comes into, the odd would be 2 years, the even would be 4 years, and then from there on after it'd be 4. So that's my amendment.
I second that.
Is that,
Go ahead.
is that our choice, or is that state law, or is that any kind of charter
It'd be
thing?
something
or-
that'd be a private act.
We can do that?
Is that something that should be addressed in a separate thing, or to not convolute this, or?
I think you're gonna have to address it in this, to be perfectly honest. My question is, maybe I didn't follow. Were we wanting to do commission elections every 2 years?
No.
And then eventually have 4 staggered every 2?
Only
That's
two.
what he's saying.
The
You have to
initial.
do
He's
every 2
correct.
years.
He's correct. You're correct.
You'd have to do every
What
2
it is.
years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be 4-year terms.
After the first
first.
election?
Yeah, after the first one. So my amendment is that the odd number of districts is on this initial one would be 2 years, and then the even number of districts would be 4 years, and at that point in time.
It's all 4.
It's 4.
So the odd number folks are gonna have to run back to back.
Yeah, either that or we do 2, instead of 2, we can do 6, but I figured 2 would be
I'm
better.
good with your amendment.
But to my question, can we do that on our own accord, or is that something we have to ask
We're
state about?
doing term limits on our own,
This is
so.
this is a private act, asking the state to do that.
So the term limits, we have to ask the state to also, right?
Oh, you're just
This is
asking,
what
do we
this
even
is.
need state permission to do that?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
I've been told, we can check that, we can ask the law director, but I've been told, yes, that we would have to, but.
I was working under that presumption, but I do not feel confident to say that's for certain.
I don't know the answer to that question, so.
I've been told that.
So this will be contingent
Yeah.
upon our abilities to do it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Vote
but
for
we're
this.
submitting you have to submit a private act to
Yeah.
the state,
Correct.
regardless.
And you're gonna bundle all that.
Yeah, so
It's-
since
it's an
since we're
act.
gonna push this through hopefully, then I think it's a good idea to stagger it.
Can I ask a question to him?
So the odds, based on your amendment, would, of course, everybody is up for reelection in 2026.
Correct.
So, but you're saying the odds would be reelected again in 28,
Correct.
and then 30,
Yeah.
the evens,
Yeah.
32.
Correct.
and so forth.
And I would, yes.
So whatever the language is to clarify, such as I put language in there, I had a citizen, like number 2, item number 2, if you look at that, I put, originally it was just 2-year term, no matter what. If in clarification of not getting caught in the middle of the cycle, I think this happened in Hendersonville, they didn't know, like, well, if you're still seated when this happens, do you get to run again, or are you done? Like, and so so I thought, out of fairness, to keep it in there, anybody in this term, only this term, it's just notwithstanding, it only applies to you. And then therefore after, everybody's just two terms, don't matter when you run, but don't care what you've done before. So basically it'd be that kind of thing. Only, I guess, these commissioners or this next group, is your wording, would need to say something like that.
Correct. And my,
okay.
yeah, my thought would be that 2-year term would not count as one of the 4-year terms that you're mentioning here. So in theory, that person, if they win a 2-year term, they could go ahead and run
So they could
that
get
one
6.
more for, in theory, if they win both times.
But they have to win.
Yeah, they'd have to win.
Yeah, I mean,
both
that's.
times if they wanted to. But do you understand what I'm saying there?
So, so would the odd person get 10 years?
Yes.
I mean, that's basically what you're saying. I don't.
Yeah.
Instead of 8, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, right now, I guess we can look at scenarios, right?
I'm
That wouldn't work, because the odd person could get 10 potentially in that scenario, but if you try to make it even for there's nowhere for the even to do that. So
No.
the odd person could get, but I'm not.
You gotta get on the
That's a
cycle somewhere.
That's a fair.
Correct.
That's a
Yeah.
fair trade-off for having to run twice back to back.
Yeah.
To my mind.
You
Anyway,
gotta
I
start
don't know why
somewhere.
you'd
So,
want to be
so I made them, and I apologize.
Yeah, I second.
Did I get us? Okay.
Commissioner Teacher.
So I understand the concept behind it, because I was thinking through it, wondering if that would be a great idea. And I love the idea of this, if it were passed, if it were the will of the body to pass it. I think that, like you said, I like that, about this being this current term being the first term, no matter if you've been in 3, 4, 5, 15, 25 years. It's
That's
like,
not what it says.
No, it's not.
That's not what it says.
I like that idea though, of where that, like, it wouldn't be like, okay, if for some reason, like, it's my first term anyway, it doesn't matter. So I would think that I would only get one more term, completely fine. But I think that, like, somebody like Mr. Hyde, Mr. Becker, you, I would think that it wouldn't just be where that it would apply going forward, like as in this one more election.
No, it does. This is, if somebody who has been 2 terms or more right now, you get to run one more term.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
I'm
this
agreeing
language
with
is.
that. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. And so my other thought is there really a benefit? Because right now we could all be turned over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that there's a benefit to that, because, I mean, almost everybody was turned over in this past election anyway, but like 6. So, I mean, if the people want to keep them in, they'll stay in 1 extra term or 1 less, and then once that term limit hits, I mean, we're not going to have everybody be elected for 8 years at a time. It's just probably not going to happen that way. And if it does, so be it. It'll work out. I don't think that's wrong-headed, but I don't think there's anything wrong. It's not that difficult to figure out how we do commission business. You know what I mean? Because I think that we could just, because it gets a little weird with the whole 2 years and 4 years and 4 years kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm supporting it. I might be convinced. I'm not going to just say no, but I think we could just say just straight up and down, if it does it, that the next term that for all of us is the last term we can run, and no more even odd kind of situation like the amendment. So I think I wouldn't support the amendment.
Would not?
No, I think I would, unless I'm missing.
Commissioner Jones.
I just got a question. Why'd you pick odd for 2?
Odd
he's a
need-
6th district.
I'm 21st district. If you want to swap them, I don't care.
I'm odd too, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I just wondered.
If I run again, it's only going to be 2 more years.
Well, it kind of goes both ways. Do you really want to do 4? Do you really only just want to do 2? I'm okay with 2. I'm odd. Also, I think we got a good mixture at this table representing odds and evens, so I'm okay with the 2. I was just curious if there's any rhyme or reason about it.
We can do paper, rock, scissors for all. But that's the.
I like all the things that were said with regards to
Is that the only amendment?
challenge of 2 years. If he has to
Did
run
you have
back to
two?
back, then
I'm sorry.
he gets
That was
10 years.
figure we want to vote on one. It's not,
Yeah, well, any other discussion on this amendment? I'm not sure how I feel about it, but, I guess all in favor say aye.
Aye.
How many ayes is that? Yeah, 3. Tim, Matt, Jerry, I don't know if Mr. Ayes, but, and then,
So it did not pass.
all in favor say no?
No, I'm opposed.
I'm gonna abstain, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm opposed to it.
I'd like to hear the negative arguments, so I can make a better vote. Nobody said anything negative.
So we have a no, abstain. I was thinking about abstaining, I haven't thought about it yet either, but,
Because possibly another amendment could come out of this. Can you guys speak to,
Well, if you want to still speak.
Negative?
Vote's been taken.
I know, but there may
it
be
needs-
another
it needs
amendment.
4 votes, right?
Yeah, votes.
Did you abstain?
Yeah, and I'm a no.
Are you a no vote or is not voting?
I
Mr.
abstain.
Chairman,
I
you
abstain.
abstained
Yeah,
also?
yeah, abstain. And we can reconsider. Did you have another one?
I do have another one, if that vote is closed. I do think with term limits, staggering them will be a whole lot better, because you're gonna have people turning over regardless. And if you, in this way, once you stagger them, at most, you got 12 turning over. And so from a continuity standpoint, to me, it makes sense. If this passes tonight, I'll have the chance to bring that up again on the floor, so I will. All right, so my next amendment is, so I've been on here for a few years, and the conversations I've had along these lines in the past, several years back, it centered around more so I don't know what districts they are, what district numbers, but like Westmoreland and Bethpage, those areas or whatnot, is sort of finding people that would even be interested in doing it, type of thing. And so the comment was like, and this is a while back, was like, and I'll bring it forward here. To me, I agree with the term limits. My amendment here is, instead of 2, that we do 3. That's my amendment. So
3 terms?
3 terms. So term limits, but an amendment to this would be, instead of 2 4-year terms, it's 3 4-year terms.
I'm gonna amend that amendment. Well, I'll second it, but I want to get into amendment.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. What's your amendment?
I'd like to keep it 2, but I've heard that exact same problem, and honestly, having done it, I can sympathize with it. Here's the last thing you want is to get to a place, Mr. Hyde made a comment one time that I'll never forget: you don't want boards to be self-perpetuating. And so the last place we want to get to is to have part of the county that can't find anybody, and then the commission is going to appoint them, I guess. I mean, right? I mean, that's what we would default to. So I do want to avoid that. So I think we can do that with a pretty simple amendment to yours, which is, it is 2 unless no qualifying candidate runs. And in that case, it can be up to 3.
Like if it's an empty spot?
If it's an empty spot, so then they,
There's
no second.
I thought about that.
There's no second.
Well, okay, but we're discussing on the main. I had thought about that. My mind couldn't figure out how to operationally make that happen with the timing of pulling papers and everything, but, because in theory, you wouldn't know that someone's not necessarily qualified to be a candidate until
They pull.
it's
Yeah,
too
that's
late for you to
true.
do it. And so I thought about that very thing. It's like, unless there's nobody else running, but I don't know how you govern that really efficiently. So anyway.
I'm just going to jump in the queue right here. So I've heard that excuse at the state level when it comes to prohibiting county employees for running for county commission or school board. It's a grave conflict of interest. And that was the argument that's used to shut down, and the beggars can attribute to that. It's the same old argument used all the time. And I will say that I have no doubt that there is a plethora of people waiting around. In the last election in Westmoreland, there were like 4 or 5 writing candidates when Mo Taylor died. Like, there's people in every, I don't care if you're a country veteran community, I just don't believe that at all. I think that's just a scare tactic. It's false information. It's just blowing hot air. I don't believe it at all because I'm not seeing it evidenced, and especially what I'm even hearing now. So people interested in running in these small rural communities. There's definitely a lot of people who want to run for offices that come available. So I would not be in favor of the third term or any type of candidacy thing. I'd probably be amenable to reconsidering being on the prevailing side, staggering and adding that to it. I feel like that probably would pass with the commission. I feel like the citizens would want that. I think it kind of makes sense. Other counties do that. So, but I don't believe there's you'd ever have a lack of anybody running for an office in Sumner County for these positions. If you have a term limit, I mean, it doesn't make a difference if you got term limits or not. People are always pulling papers in all these districts to run. End of story. Now, if you wanted to go back to 12 districts instead of 24 districts, increase those, I think that I'd be amenable to bringing that up and changing the districts back to what they were. 2 commissioners per district, because I was against the redistricting going to 24 districts. So I would be amenable to that. It covers a larger area. I think that's a better solution. We've changed something that wasn't broken for any reason. When I tell people we have 24 commissioners in 24 districts, they're like, what in the world? That's crazy. And so we have almost more than anybody in the state. But I would be opposed to that Second Amendment or on that. But
You're opposed to the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment to the main motion. And I do want to just read this real quick. I mean, in Federalist 39, James Madison was describing the fundamentals necessary for a Republican form of government as guaranteed in Article 4, Section 4 of the Federal Constitution, including the elected holding office for a limited period. And one thing that he was talking about is basically a government deriving its powers directly or indirectly from the great body of the people and is administered by persons holding their offices during pleasure for a limited period. And so Madison did make a case for term limits. 80% of U.S. citizens want term limits for Congress. Hendersonville voted 9 out of 10 people approximately wanted term limits in the city of Hendersonville. Gallatin, the same thing. So citizens want this. Nobody believes the argument. I've heard about turnover and if you lose institutional knowledge. I don't believe that either. I think some of the fresh ideas and best ideas come from new people. What I found is to be the opposite is true. Those who are entrenched the longest are the ones that usually acquiesce to department heads and the employees and allow them to run the asylum, so to speak. And it's the people coming in new and fresh are the ones that are going to challenge, quote, the status quo ideas, and the ones who are going to fight against the deep state that's in government, those who are coming in fresh. Because all I've seen up here is the people, the longer you're in here, and the people who come in saying that they're going to fight the machine, they acquiesce and turn into the machine. And that's I just see that time and time again. And so, there was even a statement by a previous county commissioner last term and telling some people that, basically they just do whatever what the department heads want. They don't ask questions, just whatever they want. It's just whatever they ask for, we're going to give it to them. No questions. And so these are people who've been here for a long time, more than 2 terms. And so I've seen the opposite be true. So I think citizens realize the benefit of a fresh blood. I'm going to make a motion to, since there's no second to that one. Or you did second it.
I seconded his.
My
but-
motion's still.
Okay.
But mine didn't get a
Yours
second.
didn't get a second. So we're still on Commissioner Becker's. Do you want to speak to Commissioner Becker's or the main motion?
Commissioner
Okay, good.
I was almost going to vote for that, but the more I think about it, I think if there's nobody stepping up to fill that spot, or there appears to be nobody stepping up to fill that spot, it's going to give citizens courage to step up. Somebody that may not do it otherwise may step up. I don't think it'll go unchallenged or that seat. A young person fresh out of high school may step up and want to do it because they've been studying politics and it's they want to learn more about it or something. I think it would encourage people to step into that spot. So
Did you have something real quick, Jamie?
I don't think it'll go unchallenged.
I want to be in the queue, but it's going to be after. Because
Yeah, I'll say that.
Thanks, Ray.
I mean, it may be the case that no Republican wants to step up, but a Democrat does.
That's
That's what it is.
It's open for both. Either one
Open for
can
both.
step in.
It's a human being.
Yeah, but it's their day be term limited. So, you know, you can only get Joe Biden for only maybe 4 years or 8 years at max. So, I mean, that's why I think people want term limits, so they don't get Joe Biden. Thank you for making the greatest argument that I've heard for that case, Commissioner Show. I'll be sure to remember that on the 28th. Commissioner Miller?
I just have a quick comment. I ran because I was sick of who was representing me, not representing me. So I think that, especially if there's term limits and the public knows that there's term limits, you're gonna have more people stepping up to get their values and their
'Cause they see you come to
morals
them.
and how they believe, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. I think you'll have more people running because they know, oh, well, you know, that person can't be in here for, 12 years. So I'm gonna get my chance because I can't be in a commit because nobody knows me. So I think
Or you might
term
have
limits.
$100,000 special interest
Well,
development
that
tax
too,
to
but
do
I'm
mileage.
just saying, but that's why I stepped up to run because I was not being represented. And I think if people know, oh, well, guess what? Somebody has to do this because they can't do this anymore. They're term limited. I'm gonna step up and do it. That's kind of my thoughts on it. So I will not agree to the 3. I think 2 is plenty.
Any more discussion on Commissioner Becker's amendment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
1, no against, no.
No.
All right. Commissioner Hyde, did you vote? Did you abstain?
Or,
Did you vote or?
no.
Okay, so that was 4-1, or 5-1, my apologies.
Did you say you were gonna make a,
I'm going to make a motion to reconsider Commissioner Becker's first amendment on staggering term limits.
can the second come from everybody or has to come from prevailing
I
side?
think it has to come from the prevailing side.
I'll second that it's reconsidered.
All right, so I have a motion to reconsider. A second. All in favor say aye.
I want to keep, I want to hear discussion. I want to hear,
Well, this is just the motion to reconsider.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Commissioner Miller is opposed. All right, so the amendment of Commissioner Becker's was to stagger the terms, starting with odd being the first, starting at 2 years, and then it would have to run 2 years after that in order for the cycles to get hammered out, which leaves open the possibility that somebody who is in an odd cycle, if somebody ran fresh and anew in 26, they could theoretically be 10 years, a term, 2.5 terms, basically.
Mhm.
But that's just kind of, they wouldn't be able to run in that last cycle. I guess that's how it would work. I haven't had a chance to fully think through this.
Scenario.
I'm a visual person, I'm auditory, so I have to, I write it and see it, that's why I need to understand and comprehend a little bit more, so. But that's the gist of it. Anybody disagree with that, or?
Could you explain that again?
I'll have Commissioner Becker explain.
So there, I guess there's different scenarios.
A new person running in
So
26.
a new person running in 26
In an odd district.
in an odd district wins.
Okay.
Then that would be a 2-year term. And then, according to this, they haven't had a 4-year term yet, so they would be able to have 2
They'd have 10
4-year
years.
terms. So in theory, their max would be a 10-year at that point in time if they were to win 3 elections.
Or you change the language to say 2 terms, not 2 4-year terms.
Well, then that would
That'd
be
change it
6
to
years.
6.
Yeah, it'd be 6.
Well, keeping in mind, this is only gonna happen one time.
Yeah, it's a one time.
It's just just a oddity. It's kind of like us getting,
Right.
that's why I put the thing up for somebody to run for a third.
The-
Yet again, whether you've been here 25 years or 2 years, that's the only reason why I put that.
And then another, and I don't know what district you.
I'm 23.
Okay, so let's use 23 for an example.
So I've been here 4.
So he's been here 4.
Run again.
And then in 2 years, he would run again, or excuse me, next year, he would run again and get a 2-year. 6.
And then he'd
What
run
I'm saying,
again.
he would be eligible to do another 4-year.
That would make it 10.
Yes.
Correct.
So the 2 different scenarios that could potentially be 10 is someone who's currently in their first term.
But if you change the language again,
Yeah.
you could just get maximum 6.
Well, here's the thing, here's the language, so this is why I guess I probably abstained at first.
Yeah.
The language in section, number 2 here, if you look at it, it's eligible to seek election to one additional four-year term, regardless of the number of terms they previously served. So that would put them in the case where they could run for 14 years.
Well, so let's
Based
say,
on
let's say,
this.
let's say me in District 21.
But I'm saying, you
Yeah.
just gave the example of Commissioner Jones, he could be in there for 14 years.
How?
No, it couldn't.
Well, no, because you can run, I'm going by language.
What's it say?
Additional four-year term, and so it's not taking into account a staggered two-year term. So you can run a two-year term,
Yeah.
and then, but the point is, this is limiting you to two 8-year terms, two 4-year terms, 8 years total. So if you run a two-year term, that doesn't count under two, so that would be 6 years. And then you could,
You only get one more.
okay, I guess, okay, then.
Yeah.
I had to talk that through, so.
Yeah, no,
You
I know.
still could go
You get the
ahead.
4 on the
Yeah.
first, you get the 4 on the backside, and the 2 in the middle.
Okay, then you still be, okay.
Can't
Just making
get
sure,
two
I didn't want to
fours.
get caught up in language and get like,
No, I get it.
the semantics
Yeah.
coming back and bite us on this.
No, I get you.
Okay.
So, but in his case, it would be capped at 10 if he won, if he ran and won each time, he'd be capped at 10.
Okay.
Now,
That'd be a one-time thing for everybody that's new from 22
yeah.
in an odd district. So it would affect 12 people one time, possibly.
Correct.
The odds of that's very
Did you want
low.
to speak to this amendment? Or the motion?
Yes.
There's another scenario.
I do want to
Okay.
speak to the main motion, but I want to.
Okay, go ahead and explain.
So there's another scenario, is someone like myself who's been here for 3 terms, or will, in theory, I'm an odd number. So I could have that 2-year term, and then according to language, I would be able to get another 4-year term beyond that.
Yes, that's kind of what I was getting to.
That would be like the max scenario. That scenario is not gonna happen in District 21.
Well, no, that doesn't,
But-
that doesn't.
But I don't know
disagree.
who's sitting in all the other districts.
That's still only 6 more years, though.
True.
We don't
Yeah.
count,
Yeah.
it doesn't have anything to do with the previous.
This would allow you to
service.
go 4 more years.
Craig, it would be
4
si-
or 6.
Yes,
period.
that's a good way to put it. It would be a max of
6.
6 more years. So just want
Which
to make
is
sure
kind of
that's
like drawing the
clear.
line down the middle for each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah,
On this
yeah.
one.
So anyway, that's want to clarify that.
Commissioner, you.
Okay, so I want to make sure I clarify a few things. So I voted to reconsider, not because I supported it, but I believe that just because my opinion differs doesn't mean I want to silence what he's saying. I still want to vote against it, but the thing is I don't think it's a terrible idea. But the reason why I would be against it, and fellow commissioner asked if I would clarify some things. So first of all, county commissioner is like one of the lowest level of representatives in our entire Constitution, all the way up. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that as a negative or a positive. I'm just saying, well, imagine if we played this out and said, well, if all the county commissioners, all 24 are voted out, or had to turn over, or the term limits hit in a block. Probably only happened one time, but if that happened, we would have nobody that knew how to be a county commissioner in there. So imagine if we played it out all the way up to president, which is way more important. And imagine if we said, wait, we can't vote this president out because there would be no one who knew how to be president in there. So that's a weird scenario, but I just think that if we can't figure out county commission, but we do figure out president, there's something like weird lopsided. That's number one. Number two, there's 24 of us. So it's like, if it were all 24, surely a few folks would figure it out fast enough to at least say, hey, we need to follow Robert's rules, and there'd be a law director of some sort. There'd be something going on. Another one, I believe there might be more expense. I don't know that, but if you put into every 2 years permanently having county commission elections, there may be more expense. It probably should have been set up that way in the beginning, but it wasn't. And so therefore, there might be more expense to the people, which is I'm completely against for just a frivolous reason to do it. I mean, because it's not like we can't figure it out. It's not like
It's a great question. The budgetary impact, would there be a fiscal impact negatively, cost more taxpayer money?
Yeah.
You're already having elections.
You already have, you got school
Well, yeah,
board,
well,
you got president.
That's true, you're already doing it every 2 years. so
But
it wouldn't be anything else to add.
Would there be
One more
any
name to the
chance
ballot.
of it being more?
No.
Just a name on the ballot.
There's no more paperwork?
Same paper, just more names on the ballot.
There'd be one more slot.
It just seems like that might be a problem. But I mean, that's just something that worries me because I'm thinking, if I'm out of food, I go in and get some more food and make it. It's like we figure it out. Like if we're out of commissioners, we're gonna figure out how to vote through it. It's not a big deal.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm not voting, I wouldn't support this because of I think it's irrational to say we need institutional knowledge and stuff. I think that's a weak argument and not valid, in my opinion, because I've heard that, but I think this is something, as well as the citizens wanting term limits, it seems like something that the citizens would support. It's just staggering it. When I've told people we do it every 4 years, I have had people tell me like, you do? And you don't stagger them? Like, people are surprised to hear that we don't stagger them.
I was surprised.
So I mean, I think, to me, I'm gonna vote for this to go to the full commission and decide. I mean, it can be amended and pulled out, I mean, but, if it goes, it kinda, I don't know.
Can I ask one more question? Can we guarantee that it really would be pretty much a wash on financially for the citizens? Because I don't want there to be some frivolous, silly
It's already an election going on.
election tax.
There's already an election every 2 years, so.
I don't think there's any chance then. I mean, that's my biggest worry. I'm like, why would we charge extra for that? Because, you know.
We need,
I
I don't
think
think so.
so. And there's usually always an elected
Overtime.
county
I
official
think when
that's
it-
up.
I think when it boils down to, if we want term limits, in order to get them to pass, this possibly staggering it would possibly get rid of some people's argument about continuity. It may gain some votes to get term limits. I think it's worth it to get one or
That's a good
two
point.
people to flip on that because they're worried about continuity, and this would answer their question on that. That's why I'll support it.
Just to finish my thing, I love that argument. And out of everything, I have had people say, you mean you don't do it every, like you don't stagger it? I have had that question come up, but that's the only one I've had. I've never had somebody against term limits, really ever, but that's a good point. So I don't know, maybe I could support it. I mean, because it's like, I think it's just, whatever it is, it winds up, I think it winds up being a win for the citizens if we get it where there's term limits. So I think.
So Commissioner Becker's got an amendment. Who's second on that? Commissioner Show?
That was second on it, and I'm still
We
second
do
on
it,
it.
so, any more discussion? We're over time. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. All right. Next item on the agenda, I'll make a motion for, we already voted.
No, we just voted on the amendment.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
amendment, sorry.
gotta vote on
Okay,
So I've
we
got
did,
an
my
amendment.
bad.
I want to make an amendment.
Okay, Commissioner Teacher.
So, speaking of term limits, I believe it would be appropriate, because we had a citizen talk about it, we've had other citizens talk about it, you talked about it. I would like to make a motion, in this term limit, to also make it where that we don't have anyone who's a county employee or someone who's a spouse who's a county employee able to run. It limits
I
that
fully
also.
support that, but I don't want to dilute that in this.
Okay,
I think I'd rather do a separate, so if you want to make a motion for a separate
I'll-
resolution.
Okay, I make a motion that it goes on, would it go on next month, or can it be?
Point of order,
it's not
Mr.
on-
Chairman, point of order. I also support that, but that is not on the agenda,
Is-
and it's not part of this
It's not germane to this, so I wouldn't.
resolution, but I would support that at a later
But
time.
I'd
We
be
can just put it on
glad if you're requesting, we'll put it on the
Yeah, please put it
agenda
on
for
the next agenda,
August.
and I don't want to do something out of order, so I agree. Okay, so.
All right, so that was, speaking of what the public comments spoke about. so-
Employer or spouse.
All right, now, for the main motion with that amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item C, I move to approve rule change allowing public comment on non-agenda
Second.
items. We have a motion, we have a second, do we have a discussion? Commissioner Becker?
Sure, we're gonna have this.
What's the proposal here? So you,
It basically is to any
Yeah.
item that's germane to the jurisdiction of the governing body, regardless of whether such matter is included on the agenda for the meeting or not.
yeah, so I would want to make an amendment that it would, if it's not an agenda item, that it gets moved to the end of the meeting and limited to 3 minutes per speaker. So I guess that, yeah, so I'll
And then
throw
I've
that
got
in
it-
as
and I've
well.
got an amendment on top of that one.
So if it's not an agenda item, that's my minute. If it's not an agenda item, it's at the end, it goes to the end of the meeting at 3 minutes per speaker.
Yeah, that's
All
fine,
right,
I'll
so
just second it. I don't-
Amendment one, second, Commissioner Show, do you have a?
That's fine, yeah.
Commissioner Jones, do you want to speak to that? Or, you speaking to the amendment?
I
or
was,
main motion?
yet?
I was going to, but I'm fine with it.
Are you speaking with the amendment or the main motion?
On the amendment.
Okay.
So I wouldn't support it as it's stated. I would be in favor of the non-agenda items being 3 minutes, but I would still want them to be at the beginning so that people don't have to sit for 3 hours, sometimes 4, to be able to speak to a non-agenda item.
Is that an amendment? To his amendment?
Yes.
I can
Or if
I can pull it back and just do one at a time. I'll do, my first amendment would be
3
instead
minutes?
of 5 minutes, it's 3 minutes. That's my
To
first
non-agenda?
amendment. For a
I'll
non-agenda
second.
item,
Go ahead.
No, you
3
go.
minutes.
I'll second that.
So, restate the motion. Basically, public speaking to non-agenda items limited to 3 minutes. We have a motion by Commissioner Becker and a second.
I want to clarify also is, and I don't know how you want to word it, but in the cases where it was on the agenda and got removed during the meeting, I would want those to still be able to do 5. But
So-
if it's an absolutely non-agenda item, wasn't on there at all,
I think
it's
we,
3.
I mean, we can
That-
clarify that.
That's
One-
not in our rules, though. I think we give grace at the
do.
chairman level for that.
So-
We do.
Mr. Hyde's always
To
helped.
restate your motion is, 1, public speaking to non-agenda items,
Correct.
limited to 3 minutes. And if an item is pulled off the agenda, the public still has 5 minutes.
Correct.
If it was previously on the agenda.
Or up to 5 minutes. Our rules do say it's the discretion of the chair,
True.
up to 5 minutes.
Up to 5.
Mr. Lawler.
If I can just
Clean it up.
offer something here, I've seen this used in other places and have read some research on it. And what they do at the beginning of the meeting is they actually have 2 separate sign-up sheets, an agenda sheet and a non-agenda sheet. And then it states on the sheets that what will be before the meeting, what will be after the meeting, the timelines and all of that. And then if it is on the agenda to go to the point of it being removed, they still will have signed up because it will not have been removed until the commission actually sits down and approves the agenda. So you'll still have them on the agenda item list anyway,
Well,
so.
the way our rules are right now, we can prevent them from speaking like that, so. it's-
No, I get that. I'm saying as part of implementing this, if it were to pass.
Yeah,
It'll be like what we have.
yeah, agenda items are 5 minutes. If it gets pulled off an agenda, you still have 5 minutes. If an item gets pulled off the agenda and the public came there to speak, they still can speak to that agenda item. We're writing that into the rules. That's
Yes.
his amendment. And then to the non-agenda item sign-uppers, that's fine having 2 sign-up sheets. They have up to 3 minutes to speak at the discretion of the chair.
Correct. I was just saying your
If we have 300 people
your
there to speak,
agenda
and
list
they
is
sign
gonna be
up,
your catch-all because.
You might get 30 seconds. That's the discretion of the chair.
Yeah.
But by standard, we're 5 minutes, 3 minutes. We're setting that standard, but with the caveat at the discretion of the chair.
I agree. I was just merely pointing out that you're gonna catch these people anyway because they don't know it's off the
Oh, I got
agenda
you.
yet.
I
So
understand.
it
You're
will
just saying
catch
that-
itself,
Sorry, I
but we
wasn't
can
understanding.
put that in the resolution as well.
It's a great idea. I like
It might be redundant, but I'm okay with redundancy.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Commissioner Becker's language as it is, or some form of it. Commissioner Miller.
I just have a question. So does this go for committees and for full commission?
No.
This is full commission.
Or
Just full commission right now.
Do we have that hammered out, like clarified? Because I don't want it to
It
bite
says
us.
full commission
Okay.
Okay.
for non-agenda items.
So, I don't think I'm against the 3-minute thing because, you know, it takes a long time, but I think part of the reason why it takes a long time is because we take a long time and we're awkward and we're difficult and all of us, you know, myself included. And I just think that, I don't think the citizens should have to limit their speech if we get up there and just spew out anything we want to spew. So like, I feel like that, yes, I get it, and if it's like 4 million people, then maybe that is something that could be discretion of the chair. But I feel like that if something, like the issue, this is the reason why it's important, is if we come up there and we feel like we have the power, some power, and we put something on there that's very important that people don't have a chance to sign up for, number one. Or if we take something off that people's wanted to speak on. Mr. Hyde's been wonderful about letting folks still speak. I think that's a wonderful thing. But I think that the problem is if people don't have an opportunity, there might be something very important. Some things do take longer than 3 minutes to explain. I don't know that there's gotta be some kind of continuity on it, but I think that's my one reservation of saying, is it okay to say, okay, this person's limited? Because maybe they're speaking on something that's far more important than anything that we have chosen to put on the agenda anyway. So, I don't know, I kinda can go back and forth and argue against that, because I think they have more of a right to speak than we do. So I don't know, it's just that.
If I could address that, Mr. Chairman, the reason why I agreed, I was actually thinking about this before the meeting too, but I support his amendment for the 3 minutes, because if a citizen doesn't know how to get a hold of their county commissioner, they're having trouble with their county commissioner, they just cannot get them to listen. This gives them an opportunity to give a snapshot of something, a preview of something that may be a bigger story that they can get up and tell the world about. But they got 3 minutes to do it. It's an abridged version, and hopefully, if it's important enough, they can get some good talking points in there so that 24 people out of them, somebody will take it up, and it'll come up on a committee meeting next month, or they'll reach out to them and make a bigger deal about it with a phone call. This 3 minutes should be enough for them to convey what this topic is about. They don't have to get into the weeds about everything, but it's an introduction for something they're frustrated about.
I'm trying to move this along. Commissioner Shevitz, is it on the amendment or main motion?
It's on, you know what, I'll hold it up, because it's my motion.
All right, we have the main, do I need to restate it, or are you guys clear? The main motion is to, non-agenda items, 3 minutes. Full agenda items, still 5 minutes, and if an item gets pulled, they still have the full 5 minutes to speak on that agenda item.
That's the amendment, not the
That's the amendment.
Are we taking chairman's discretion out of that now?
No, that's not in this right here. That's part of
Our rules?
our rules. It talks about,
So it's.
but it does, I actually time limit. It says the commission chairs on page 48, look, number 4. Commission chairs authorize and impose a time limit of 5 minutes per speaker during public comment, including comments germane to both agenda and non-agenda items. So that is, so that's,
It's not less than 5 then. It's not his discretion. We've just always used, he's always been graceful about letting them do it if it got pulled. I want to know if we're rewriting something or if we're keeping it the same.
common sense to me has always been, it's
It needs
up
to be
to 5
clear.
minutes.
Yeah,
but
you don't force someone to speak for 5 minutes.
No, I'm saying chairman's discretion was you could limit it. Less than 5 minutes is what I thought.
Yeah.
Or you can say, it's not on the agenda, I'm not gonna let you talk. Are we taking that and changing that, or is it staying the same?
To me, it was staying the same as what it's always been.
Okay, as long as it's clear that it's staying the same.
Clear to me, but if it's not clear to you guys, offer an
You
amendment.
got, if
No.
it passes, we got 2 weeks to make sure the language is good before full
We can
commission.
always,
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, any further discussion on Commissioner Becker's amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second amendment is.
I'm all about the second amendment.
Is, my next amendment would be to move the non-agenda items to the end of the meeting. That's my
I'm
second.
gonna second that.
Okay, second.
I won't be opposed to that, or go ahead, and Commissioner Tickner, you're first.
I am completely against that, but I'm not swaying, just because the thing is I've seen commissioners get up and leave, and I don't want that to happen. I've seen citizens leave. I don't want something to be non-important. If we gotta wait it out, we gotta wait it out, but I think it's important that we put it in the same spot so people can hear it, because the last thing we need is to cast more shadow on whatever it is that they want to do. So.
Commissioner Shepard, thank you next.
So I'm gonna quote our esteemed chairman, as he said many times, that we live in a republic, not a democracy. And a representative Republican form of government, you have your representatives. And if we don't do what they like, they can vote us out. Now, I'm for this idea that there's no say here, that folks don't have any say, that is a democratic argument. And by the way, I'm for, on several occasions, there have been people who've tried to speak non-agenda items. I've voted to allow it over time. So I'm all about letting giving folks the opportunity to redress their government, and it is in the state constitution that the opportunity for redress is an inherent right. So but at the same time, we have to actually execute things, And so it is possible, if you were to open this up, I'm going to explain why I'm for putting it at the end. If we were to not put this at the end, let us say that 100 people, you can get 100 people to come and speak for 3 minutes on an item totally outside of the agenda for no other reason than to gum up the works of government. You know what that is? That is democracy. That is not republic. Because it is, those 100 people do not represent the 225,000. You can, probably most people in here can go find 100 people to go and cause a problem. And so I want those 100 people to be able to speak by all means. By all means. But what I don't want is for folks to be able to weaponize a rule in order to destroy or gum up or prevent good and orderly government business. So that's why I'm for this.
Commissioner Dale.
So I was concerned about somebody gumming up the business of the night, but also just a person getting up there and ranting about nothing, because I've seen that happen at a Hendersonville.
Well, this would be germane to the body of the.
That's what I was reading here. It says germane to the jurisdiction of the governing body. So is there a place in there where the chairman could get things back into control if something like that were happening? It was clear that it was not germane, or could we change that language to where you see what's happening and you make a motion to get to the orders of the day and get back to the business on the agenda?
I think it's very clear to me. I don't have any problem.
No, I'm saying if we kept it at the beginning, that would protect us from what he's fearful about.
I mean,
That is a real possibility we're just talking about. If somebody wanted to do a protest and hired 100 people to come up there and speak for 3 minutes, it could happen. This direction I see this county going, I definitely see it could happen.
So I mean, but it's germane to the jurisdiction of the county legislative body.
So that would be your control to keep that from happening, is what I'm asking. You think we got language in there to protect against that?
No, it's somebody can't come up and start complaining about Hendersonville, Board of Mayor and Alderman, and the deer population in Hendersonville. They can't come to the county commission and talk about that.
I'm not worried about that.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what that means. It's germane. This is going through the state legislature. I mean, it's coming. To be able to do this regardless of what. So we're just going to get ahead of the curve, because it's going to happen.
It's just about whether we do it at the beginning or the end.
Sure. I mean, I'm for the beginning, but I mean, I'm not going to be in favor of the end. But I might get overruled or lose on that. So, but vote your conscience.
So hopefully this will clear it up. I understand what everybody's saying, but I still had to argue that it's not democracy to allow people to speak. I don't believe that is. I believe that, we're elected to vote. I understand the thought behind it. But if we're going down that road, I'll do the same thing that I did earlier. I'll give an example. Then if you could pay 100 people to come out and speak on something that is a non-agenda item, you could pay 100 people to come out and speak on something that's an agenda item. We're surely going to have at least something on the agenda. So, and they could just talk for 5 minutes on that one, so it's a little easier. You can, get a few people less, if you really wanted to speak on that. You could get 40% less, I guess you'd say, in order to drum up the same amount of lengthy discussion. So I don't think that's I understand it, and it is a pain. It is the thought of it, just as a human. But as an elected official, it's not a pain. We have to represent. So I mean, therefore, if somebody wants to speak and they want to make me exhausted, and we're here until the middle of the morning, I mean, we're already here that long because we all talk too much, but myself included. And so I just really believe that we got to get back and make the main thing the main thing. And if they want to speak on something, it does say it needs to be germane to something we can even vote on. But I just think that that's not an argument, because you could bring out people for the same thing and just speak on an agenda item.
It's not germane to something we can vote on.
It's what it says.
Anyway, well,
Germane to the
we're over our
jurisdiction.
time a lot. We got a budget committee, so if we can, I'm just asking us, can we wrap this conversation up? I think we know how we're going to vote on this. So we got an amendment I'll restate the amendment is to move non-agenda items towards at the end of the meeting, conclusion of business to speak to that. Is that right? And so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
None opposed. So it's 4-2. So get another chance again in 2 weeks, Mr. Becker. That fails to pass. Now, one final motion on this.
Main motion,
The
right?
main motion is to adopt this as amended by the 3 minutes on non-agenda items.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teacher. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, item E, Corson.
Motion we approve all these.
Well, I don't know.
We haven't- we
Item E,
haven't-
Corson, fire and security, I make a motion to discuss.
Well,
We haven't done the
We haven't-
rule change to deferred.
Motion.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Item D, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Which one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item E, Corson Fire and Security. Should have read your agendas before you got to the meeting. So you don't know what that is. Corson Fire and Security, item E, I'll make a motion to discuss.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Mr. Laura, what is this?
We deal with Corson on several different departments, and there's always contract renewals coming up. So instead of us going line by line on each one that comes up, we've gotten with Corson and done a mutual agreement that overrides each individual one we sign, that gets us all on the same terms we need to be on at the offset.
Is this gonna break anything if we defer this for if we move this to old business for 1 month?
We've just got other contracts to approve, but we can
I'm gonna.
do those individually.
Just because we just got this and we're running short on time, I'd like to give it due time. I'm gonna make a motion to move this to old business. for
Second.
1 month.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Keep on old business.
Motion group approve 10A through D.
Second.
And motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion
Motion
to
carries.
Second.
Motion adjourned. You know what? Takes a little while to make sausage, right? Unlike the previous one.